Good morning, everyone. We are officially on for the final 3 hours. For the final 3 hours, we are going to stay here in this cloudy Nürburgring, where the high-peak racing has an entire lap and more of gap to 787 BMW for Remnant Racing, and the number 221 FRL car in third place currently. Then is number 11 Vesa Sport car in fourth. The 331, which was at the end of my stint yesterday night, it was in second place. It is now in fifth. The number 14 here in sixth place. They were even in 14th at the end of my stint, but I really think that Van Tielen is really helping the cause here. Lapping with a Ferrari 296 in 808.3 in their best lap, second best time lap of the entire session. And it's the number 321 International Racing Club. They were the very verge of the podium yesterday night. Now they are even outside the top 5, in 7th place only. It is then the 227 Fear Nothing Motor. In number 227 here in the McLaren. The 88 follows, which now remains essentially where I left it. Okay, this is working. Number 69 is then in 10th place. For his Squirrel team, as the number 141 goes on in 11th place. Holfast Motorsport was even outside the top 10. And they were one of the teams that were in the podium positions. The number 911 is currently, for the Porsche Mansell, in 12th place. It is racing with a Clark driving a car. Is currently 13th. Currently racing team, unfortunately, only 14th, although they have one of the best scored lap times. Particularly experience driving for Spectrum Racing Team, the number 94. And then it follows the number 24, it is Wild Things Racing in 16th place. The American team in 17th place with TAC Racing currently leading the AM category by a good chunk of time over second place car. Number 42 QRT Sport, unfortunately their comeback is clearly has been halted from what I was seeing yesterday night, where they were even inside the top 10, only 18th now. Number 18 is in 19th place with us racing team there, and then the top 20 is being completed by the Porsche. Number 934 with Yellow Submarine in 21st, and then we've got the second placed car in 22nd. Whilst 23rd has our last pro car for the Assetto racing team. In 24th place is the number 41. Number 73 team E-Trax is currently in 25th place, as LFR is in 26th, then follows Long Smile, and in 28th is MT Motorsport with BB in last and 29th place, currently running. Out of the beginning, where 45 apologies, teams were starting, we lost practically 17 of them, majority due to disconnections and similar. So for now, into the lap number 151 is only the number 84 here. Now we got 2 cars on the lap 150. Although I think the number 11 will join them shortly, so I'm trying to figure which cars are lapped and which cars are not. I think 2nd through 7th place and narrowly are 1 lap down on the leader. Nope, it is actually no, okay. 2nd through 5th place are 1 lap down to the leader. 6th through 13th are 2 laps, and then 14 to 17th are 3 laps. But currently the 787 has lapped everyone behind the car number 321. Oh wait, Grains being the first one for the lap of the cars from number 787 perspective, which, remember, it was one of the teams that had the car outside the top 20 at a certain time even. We were in 21st as the lowest. Then had to fight to get back on the top of the leaderboard. The important to notice is that it's not safe, because I still think that the 2-1 is on the off sync. I don't think they ever managed to resync, and I still don't know if they can do it. We will see from the last episode they will do when the 51 is into the pits. So the next pit will be done at 1 hour and 51 roughly, and then another one at 55 minutes or less, 57. So they should have the... Oh wait, they don't, because 247. I will have to get back there at 250, at 150 to go, and then they will have to get back at roughly 53 to go. Then they will have to get... Or maybe they can. They barely can do it, because otherwise they... No, because if they have to come in early... Yeah, they can't. They have to go through the pits at least once too many times compared to the others. Because if any pits happens after the 2 hour 40 mark, that kind of saves you one pit stop. Because then you can pit at 1:43 to go. And then you can pit at 47, 48 to go. No, I still too much. I tend to think maybe we are already in that phase where everybody can just fit. Because if anybody would have fitted... Yeah, okay, we are already in the second phase, so I jumped the gun, because if anybody would have had to pit after... No, before, sorry, the 2 hour and 52 mark, they would have had to go for another pit. Now we are in that phase where they can cut one pit stop. Although I still think that maybe the 331 does have to go for another. So now the 297 goes in at 2 hours and 45 to go. They will have to go back at 1:48 to go, and then 51 minutes to go. Yes, okay, now I'm correct. So the marker is actually to go into the pits when the final pit stop is again now, because otherwise you will have to make a pit stop in the final minute, because if you are more than 57 minutes, 58 minutes rather, on track, that means that you will have to make another pit stop. So everybody that is clocking in, let's say, after those 58 minutes will have to go for another pit, but currently I think that nobody is going to do it. But importantly, everybody that pits later will have to make a pit stop with less fuel for the very end. because it's quite different to pit with 48 minutes to go and to pit with 30 minutes to go, for example. But I still think the Ferrari 331 is in difficulty because they were a bit on the limit with 53 minutes to go. But I think that they should be fine to go on without making pit stops. Without making extra pit stop. But it depends when the leader really ends the race. Also. Because if they go a bit too much over the limit, many teams could face themselves without enough fuel to end the race. Which brings the Ferrari at this point 331 in difficulty when the number 14 is just 10 seconds behind them, but obviously it will now depend on stint timers. And at the current moment I don't really have that information, as the number 11 goes into the pits with 2 hours and 41 to go. So they will have to make the next pit stop at roughly 1 hour and 44 and then 47, 48 minutes to go. So they are currently in that window where they don't require an extra pit stop. Quite surprised by the number 14. I really think that Van Tieren is helping massively this situation since he was... Remember, he won the Master League here in Ferrari and he definitely has the pace. Remember that he's the only one that managed to even get closer to the number 84's best lap. It was a 8:08.3, the best lap that has been set by this Belgian team. They are currently 9 seconds behind Zagdal, but I'm quite sure that that gap is actually a minute longer. But it still puts them in front of the 3-1 Racing Club. So they should be safe on the 6th place since there are 90 seconds of gap to the 7th place car. And they are currently gapping it massively. The last lap they gained the 6 seconds, and with this rhythm they will get very close. Even to Zagdal within the 2 minutes, but I think with 2 hours and a half to go it's very close, if anything. As the number 177 is now here in the pit lane, 13th place. Number 94 is just 5 seconds away from Kanika in the McLaren. So there are still some short gaps. I'm seeing a 1.4 seconds only from Barf here in the Mercedes, which has front-end damage. But even with that, they are going very quick. Now I think at this point it's just a graphical glitch, because the last time around it was of 8:13.8, narrowly missing on their team's personal best. They are going a bit too quickly for it to be damaged, because otherwise that car will be able to set 810, 811s without the damage. So I think it's just a graphical glitch at this point. Or maybe there really is damage, but it's just not as heavy as it seems. We will know for certain in the next pit stop, where they will likely Ah, okay, so yeah, that at this point, yes, that's just a glitch, a graphical glitch at this point, because it doesn't really make any sense. I thought legitimately that at least by changing commentator and literally quitting the lobby and rejoining it would have solved the issue, but currently they are still there. With the damage. Graphically speaking, obviously. I mean, it has to be said that when they were on track yesterday night, it's not really like any stint they were clear of the damage. And there is a current yellow flag. We'll stay here at the moment. We'll side by side between the two, and I think it's going to be the number 531 that makes the overtake, and the Mercedes is now in 19th place with a very good exit speed. They are now in 19th place, which is realistically the best they can achieve on pace, since Younger in 42 is 5 minutes and 40 seconds in front, just into the GP strecke. GT3 just made their team's personal best, 8:11.6. 40 seconds away from the 3-1, lapping in 8:14. And with this rhythm, they are lapping around on average, I think, 3 to maybe 4 seconds better. On average. Maybe it's a bit optimistic. I think just 3 seconds better on average. They are currently 30 seconds away, so they need 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 laps. 10 laps here in this track is 80 minutes, which is just more than an hour. So they could actually get the 7th place car with a rhythm. There could be a chance for them. Sometimes they can make it very close to a car which was one of the bound to be podium finishers. So the car number 29 is back in the lobby. They were missing for a lot of time with Kadziela, Ostiarz, Filip Jakopanus, Zayak and Livka. They are not with the same livery though. For simulation racing, they are with a different livery. Or rather, they are without a livery. But they are back in last place. They probably still want to, at the very least, finish the race. As Leung has catched Kanika in the racing. The Brazilian is currently struggling a bit, just exited the pits, as he already lost the whole advantage he had to Leung in the Ford Mustang, and that's the Mustang. Remember that the top speed is more or less 325 kilometers per hour compared to the field, which just reaches the 280. Actually, I'm surprised the top speed is not being held by the Mustang. Oh wait, now it is, but it is only because I just joined. Without the slipstream, that Ford can reach 285 kilometers per hour. Since I joined so early, no one was in slipstream conditions. So I can tell you that the speed, the max speed being reached by the teams. With the Mustang tops the leaderboard with 285. The McLaren is very close to that. Loading lifting is even worse, because I wouldn't be surprised to see a 287 or even 290. Okay, 290 is a bit too much maybe, but I can't recall the exact best speed trap that we had in the beginning. But it was nearly 24 hours ago. This is going to be the closest battle we've got on track, but there are also... I'm looking at two other battles that could appear in the near future. We've got also the battle for 5th, which is getting there, and the battle for 2nd, although that is a bit slower to appear. The gap is 10 seconds. The gap is slowly being cut, but ironically, I think a bit too slowly. In this section is practically impossible to make a move, as we finally go in one of the quickest part into... Ooh, there is currently the chance there for the Mustang to make it on the outside, and just as I said it, there was the chance on the outside and the Mustang made it quite easily. We can have a replay here. Look at this from the outside camera, as Leon made it without too much trouble in front of Kanika. And just at the beginning of the technical zone over the carousel. With overtake happening even before mud curve. It happened on Castle Can. Castle Shan, rather. Because I don't think CH is the equivalent of the Italian K. Oh, there is some yellow flag there. This is car number 17, which is not really in a good place. We can have a replay from here. What exactly happened to the car over the braking zone, over the curb there, and just lost the car and collided with the wall. Currently 29th and making places by simply existing at this point. This many teams are finding difficulties to maintain it. The gap has been enlarged a tiny bit. 5.2 seconds now until into Zagdal, but I think a lapped car may have had the reason within. Less than 2 hours and a half to go. And now the 2-1 pits. So I'm starting to think heavily. And with heavily, I mean certainly that the 787 is now back in sync. So they were off sync in a good way, lucky. So they weren't off sync in terms of pitting earlier and having to pit earlier ever since. It was just a way to cut away one of the pits with the defense strategy, and now they also pit after the 2-1 and also have an advantage at this point. Very few things can go wrong for the team in second place here, for Eminent Racing. With a very good performance, Harry Handy, Christopher Larson and Nathan Pierce. This team, which actually became quite famous in endurances since they were always with a Honda in unusual places for an IM class car. Hence now they jump to the Pro, and they're clearly putting the results together. Only 3 drivers though for their team. Few teams went with a 3 drivers strategy, but usually it's not the go-to solution. You usually go for 4 drivers on a team. Currently, with 3 drivers on a team, the best place is this, the 787 in second place. Then we've got the number 11 in fourth with 3 drivers. The number 88 is on 9th place. And then I think it's just the 177 in 13th. It is indeed. Then there is the other part of the spectrum with 6 drivers in a single team. In the number 29, in the number 162, in the number 300, currently in 3rd place. There is a 531 with 6 drivers too. And these are the teams with 6 drivers in a single team. 6 drivers usually translates in 4 hours driving per team. Whilst with 3 you only go, well, you only go obviously in a jokingly way for 8 hours. Well, up to 8 hours. Although I'm aware that many teams are not going for 8 hours, but maybe even for 4 hours. Or 996, there are obviously different strategies. Maybe 9. 10, 5. There are different strategies based on your drivers and the situation on track, because obviously if you got to fight with someone and the slowest and faster drives are available, at this point it could be a good idea to put the faster driver and then switch the slot with another slot in the timetable. Gap is now only 1 point that you can see the shadow of the Ferrari 331 up ahead. last lap around it was 11.3. Only, well, only. It still is a very good lap time for both the teams there, but it was an 8.11 for Van Tillen, 2 seconds quicker than Zagdal's one, lapping in 8.13. They will certainly catch them, but the problem is that you also have to make the overtake, and I don't think anything will happen in any section of the circuit but the straight, the main straight. Realistically, only there an overtake will be available, since their pace is practically, well, not identical, but certainly as similar as possible. Ooh, that's a bit wide there for Zagdal, trying to bring as much speed as possible to defend. But I think Van Tillen will try there on the... Oh, there is contact between the two. There is door-to-door contact there between Van Tillen and Zagdal, with an enormous amount of speed being brought by the Belgian Ferrari. And then door being closed directly on the face from the Swedish driver, leaving no space, but actually even closing the space that was available. So he's trying the overtake in this part, which is frankly quite an impossible task considering the pace is so similar. But I'm not surprised if Van Tillen will try for the overtake in an unusual spot, even because he likely has to find a way to find a minute in 2 hours to be safe, to say in fifth. The same car, same specification of Ferrari 296, which evolves from the first version of the GTB. Ferrari usually, well, in the last month has been putting out... Oh, there is the overtake there on the inside. I don't see anything because there is a tree in the middle, but there was rather the idea of making it into Bergwerk. Now again on the outside, then on the grass a bit. It's clear that the car has a bit less downforce compared to the FRL car, and the overtake happens just on Kesselchen. And that was the move for 5th place, with a bit of a difference in speed. And I also think the 51 kind of let them go tiny bit. Since at this point it could be useless to defend as hard as possible, since very likely the 14 has to make a pit stop more than the FRL car. There is a penalty there being applied to Lung. That's a penalty for causing a collision, likely. I need this thing here. Here it is. So the reason is the number 94 receives a penalty for causing a collision with car number 531 and 2 penalty points. So at this point I'm starting to think that 531 actually has the damage on the front. So this car has been involved in so many contacts that at this point it's just a recurring thing to see them with damage. There's a bit of gravel there too for them. So until then, current objective is to somehow create a minute of gap. Since it's 2 hours and 15 to go, it is roughly 135 minutes to go. We'll put 8 minutes for a brief moment as a sort of placeholder. Roughly it is 17 laps to go. 17 or 18. I should make the calculations better, but it should be around 18 laps to go. And they need to create a minute whilst they go into the pits. They're going now, so that means that they will have to go at 2 hours and an hour and 20, and then at 25 minutes. They actually can go for a special dash, so they can certainly already recover some time from that. So I'm not setting an entire minute at this point. I'm putting like 45 seconds in 17 laps. Around 3 seconds per lap. They require at least 3 seconds per lap to gain back the place number 5. It's going to be interesting. You know, some yellow flag appears, 17 again. At the exit of the hairpin, and already that's it's a bit too late to see what exactly happened. Maybe with this way it's a bit more clear. Oh, they went on the grass and then a bit on the wall. Narrowly missing on A-Trax BMW 73. So it should be 3 seconds per lap that have to be gained back. Now the gap is 40. No, it's 50. Just more than 50. It's 55 seconds. 3 seconds per lap is actually not that bad. The issue is that only one driver can do that, and it is Van Thielen, and I'm not sure how many hours he already drove this car for. That battle for position certainly didn't help the situation. It certainly had at least created those 2 seconds which are part of the time he requires. Because remember, it's just 45 seconds. They don't really need a minute because it's going to be a splash and dash at the end without change of tires and with just fuel and not even a lot of it. Unless the 331 is on their same strategy at this point, everything I'm saying is just blatantly wrong. Because remember, the 331 pits on the limit. It's going to be clear at the next pit stop. Remember, to avoid another pit stop, you have to wait until 1 hour and 45 to go. Because otherwise you will be obliged to go for another pit stop. Since the stint timer is 65 minutes long and you can't really go over 58 minutes. Otherwise you get a drive-through. Or even more realistically, you don't arrive with the fuel in the pits, leaving you stranded. Gap here is still 28 seconds. They've been gaining, but not consistently. Number 88 now exits the pits in 9th place. Now with the car number 934 that just went into the pits, it's going to be interesting, the challenge with the number 18, because there is a good chance that this oh wait, now they are on the same strategy, so it means that they have to gain back 1 minute and 12 seconds. It's a bit difficult, but anything can happen. Any incident and spin could bring the gap down to just some seconds. And here in Northlife, some seconds are worthy a lot of time. Ooh, it's a rear going a bit sideways. Back into the pits, and Sim goes for a 911 Monte Racing. They are pitting with the stint timers. Okay, that's a bit odd. Why are they pitting with 32 minutes to go? With 32 minutes on the stint, rather, not to go. Which is also 42 minutes on the stint, but That's beside the point because they can't really reach 65 minutes. But I'm a bit unsure. Because this puts them on... Oh wait, they made this splash and dash. So they are thinking about something. 13 seconds only in the pits, only fuel. And they reset the stint timer. And they are back to go. At this point they can practically do whatever they want. Since the FRL car is miles away. And the Illigner is half a track away from them, so at this point it is just to probably go as safe as possible. Since realistically you can try any tactic you want, but with 2 hours to go I don't think you will ever retrieve those 4 minutes away, and I'm not really sure that Zackel is able to gain any entire minutes on this team. Yellow flag are out. It is the number 73 in 24th place. This was the car I had some difficulties. Will we have a better look here? So they just go over the grass. Oh, they just lost the rear. And I think that was the wall approaching very rapidly on their position. And they've got some damage on the front end, very likely. So, absurd amount of time has been gained there, so I think there was a mistake by the Ford Mustang team, because they just lost nearly 10 seconds out of nowhere, because now Grains is 21 seconds away instead of 30 seconds away. Well, 28 to be fair. I'm also seeing that the lap has been red flagged, so possibly when I was looking at something, I didn't see a mistake by this team here, which doesn't seem to have damage. So it could have just been some rallycross moment. They are into the pits. Okay, yes, they barely made it with a pit limiter. 2 hours and 6 minutes and 4 minutes to go, which translates it another pit stop for certain. And Grains is also into the pits, so they are on the same exact tactic. The only difference is that there are 20 seconds of difference between the two. You can see the racing club there is 7th place. The 20 seconds are not really an impossible task. It's very much possible. They need in 120 minutes, which is 15 laps, to gain back 20 seconds, which is nothing, really nothing. There is now another penalty, that's for the car number 24 in 16th place. There is the penalty there because of the car. Oh, that's the reason. There's been an incident with car 11. 15-second penalty for crashing into the car number 11. Unfortunately, this track is quite glitchy, and my race control doesn't really work in this track, so I can't see the replay. So that could be the reason why the 11 had to pit again, because of damage. It could make sense, huh? If those 13 seconds are actually damage repair rather than fuel. And considering the gap, it was just a good idea at that point. The 2-1 just made the team's personal best. Illigner set 809.3. One of the best laps of the whole session. Few teams managed to get into the 809. Those are the number 141, number 297, the number 14 with the 808, the number 11 with the 809, the number 221 here just now, and 787, and obviously leader of the race with an 827, and currently the best lap in the race so far. I think it, well, it could still get better, obviously. Gap has been cut once more. No, it is only 52 seconds, so Samin is definitely putting pressure there. The Belgian team is 100% putting their best drivers for this final rush. Still a long way to go, but the plan is so the gap between the McLaren and the Ford is what is happening? Oh, there was some damage. So that's clear. There was some damage in the Mustang. There was 35 seconds of damage on that car. And now the Mustang is behind the Fear Nothing moto in a 227. There clearly was some yellow flag, but unfortunately they didn't pick it up. So Wenzel is driving for the number 3-1, and it is now in 8th place, and they have to gain back the time because they've been stationary for 35 seconds. In fact, the rhythm was a bit slow, and also those 10 seconds clearly put damage on the car. It could just be some side damage that had to be repaired, but nevertheless, because I don't think it was front damage because it wasn't visible. If anything, it was rear damage. Oh, there is another incident there. It is the number 83. 93, sorry. She's the leader. Oh, it's the leader in class. Seems like they just went for spin. We'll to see if it is something more. No, it's just... okay, it's also the barrier a tiny bit being involved. It was a half spin for them. They are the leader in IM class and currently still comfortably are because the car number 300 is on lap number 152 and they are on lap 93, so they managed to lap their opponent by 2 entire laps. Giving themselves a clear over them. So it's the same situation with the leader overall, which has an extreme amount of time of gap. It's clear that Illignan's plan is to try to recover Pierce at this point, but it is a pretty difficult task, not gonna lie. Pierce goes in to make the pit stop. And it's 1 hour and 55 to go, so they actually need another pit stop. 100%. They need just a splash and dash, so it's not that bad. But Illigner could still be in contention, although their pit stop will certainly last more than the Remnant Racing's one. So we could see the overtake happening. But based on pit stop, it could be just momentary. As now the overtake happens, you can hear them for starting again, but they are getting just now back in the track, and that's the 787 behind 221. But as stated earlier, I think this is just a very brief situation. For Mustang here is also trying to recover the gap. It is now 10 seconds. But considering earlier on it was, I think it was 13, so it's certainly not bad news this one here. They need to recover 10 seconds in less than 2 hours, which is a possible task even for a sprint race. Never mind, technically a double sprint at this point. So Ulrich into the pits. That's going to be... Even for them, I think it's the second to last pit stop. No, not even. I think it's actually the third to last pit stop. Because they are a bit on the limit. 1 hour and 51 to go. I think they go in 55. Yeah, that's barely sustainable. They have to be pretty lucky there with the leader. They are less than 2 minutes. No, they are nearly 5 minutes away from the leader. So yeah, they're not in a good position at the moment. Because this means that the leader will end the race at a time where it's going to require them another lap. I don't think they can do it. It could be another pistol, but at the same time, it's not something that really changes anything since Ericsson is 100 seconds away and Gamov is another 100 seconds away, so they are literally in the middle of 200 seconds. More than 3 minutes of space between Gamov and Ericsson with Ulrich in the middle. Which is, now that I look in the race screen, it's Lovek driving. And the race control still states that it's Ulrich. Only 7 seconds is now the gap between Handy and Illiner. So the gap is just 8 seconds between Angelo and Wenzel here with the German. Oh, that's Carica. Oh, that's Carica off. And that's also the position being lost on the Mustang. They went on the wall, that's a 297, you can see it. Getting overtaken by the Mustang. Right. Would like to know the reason there. Oh, they just went completely wide and into the barriers. With side damage too. So now the number 94 gains a place. Now they are in 14th place. So as I was saying, 8 seconds only is now the gap between Venzel and Angelo. I mean, I think it's called, it said Angelo in German, not Angelo in kind of Latin way. And there is the pit ready for the McLaren team, which was on their last laps anyway. This stint timer is over there. And the Brazilian completes the stint, unfortunately, with the last lap wall tap, which also led to this team losing the place number 14. So the closest battle is this one here. With Wenzel and Angelo getting together there for 7th and 8th. Currently Perry is lapping the lap number 159 to the 160. And the number 11 was back in the pits once more. So this should be their stop for fuel and tires. As the number 331 made the stop and it is now behind Samin. 28 seconds behind. So Samin has gained a lot of time there. "28 seconds out of the 50, which more or less requires, putting now the pressure on the number 11. "30 seconds behind them, but still, it is now becoming a possible danger for them. And is now losing a bit of time from Illigner, but it's a reminder that they are on completely different strategies, although Illigner just went off track, but it's the usual off track there. Also Rebecca too. Red flag lap, but I suppose it's just the GP strike section. But it is a tiny bit more of the track limits. The gap is shortening here for 7th, with 1 hour and 40 to go. And there is currently a yellow flag showing on track. It is the car number 197 in 28th place. Now back on the go. This is the reason for it. It's already going slow. And they just went on the wall, missing their braking point completely. And now they've got to do the 25 kilometers long racetrack to get back into the pits. No, 3.5 seconds only between Novak and Van Horn. That's for 20th place. And it is another yellow flag. I think it's still the car number 197. No, it's not the car this time around. It is the car number 162. It's Da Silva in 25th place. Going slowly. So okay, something happened there. Just after the hairpin. Oh, they just lost the rear. Oh, but I think it's... Yeah, that's a lot of damage. I think it's tire damage. And they tow the car back to the pits. Wenzel only 6 seconds away from the FNM, and ooh, that's a 14 glitching out for a moment. on my scoring board. Commentary disconnected completely. Luckily they survived it, so they are in 5th. It's a very slow cut off the gap, but it's currently going towards the front of the Ford. 6 seconds only now. They have to get back to 7th after the damage they had early on. There's also a 17 seconds gap here that is getting shortened as time passes. The car number 69, the car number 88. Getting closer together. Handy apparently is not able to cut the gap. The last lap, Illinger did an 8:12. Handy made us 8:16. With situation in favor of Illinger, but as I said earlier, it's going to be decided in the pit stops, although creating a large gap now will make it enough for the 221 to make it to 2nd place. There is a yellow flag currently showing, it is the car number 17. Just in the middle of... oh, they lost the rear. As a car was passing, that's the Ferrari, just narrowly missing them. And certainly flashing the light and staying still. I'm not really sure how much of a good tactic that is to avoid any incident. There is also another yellow flag there, but it's from the car number 934. They were battling with Van Horn. They went on the gravel and unfortunately they just lost the car, but no damage whatsoever for them. They lost 15 seconds though. and they have to make back that gap of 18 seconds once more. They have 90 minutes to make it. What's up ahead here? Gap is also getting shortened. 5 seconds between the two. So at the moment the situation is as it stands. We've got Cameron 84 still leading by an entire lap by anybody else. 222 FRL car is now into the pits with 1 hour and 30 to go. Promoting Handy back to second place in 787 Remnant Racing. The number 11 for Vesta Sport is in 4th. Number 14 for number 14 in 5th place for Sim Racing Belgium. The 331 for Formula Racing League in 6th. Then we've got the 227 Fear Nothing Moto in 7th place there with a 321 International Racing Club in 8th place. Then in 9th it is the Northern 4 over 88, and the top 10 is the Curtis Squirrel team in number 69. Then follows the Holdfast Motorsport in 11th, with the Manfred Racing in 12th. 14th is TSE Racing, being followed by the second Ford in 14th place for Spectrum Racing Team. Then 15th place is Kronos Racing Team, as in 16th is Wild Things Racing, and 17th is your I Am Leader with the TSE Racing in 17th. In 18th place QRT Esports, number 42, and then the 531 Yellow Submarine is 19th with the Advisor Racing Team in with the Advisor Racing Team in 20th, number 18, and then the Advisor Racing Team in 21st, number 934. Second place in IM class is Gazelle Motorsport, number 300, with Curtin in the Assetto Racing Team, number 81. Number 73 is the Team E-Trax, with the Formula Racing League number 41 in 25th place. The number 162 is in 26th for LFR Endurance, with 792 Longsby in 27th place. In 28th we got the 197 Ferrari MT Motorsport, and then the number 17 ends the leaderboard with a BVB. That's your 29 teams that will likely complete the race in less than 90 minutes. Now the closest battle we have is this one, because you just saw in the distance the McLaren. In 7th place. McLaren, which stole the position from the 3-1 early on with a damage repair for the Ford. The last one was 8:13.9 for Wenzel, getting only 1.2 seconds on Angelo. As the German driver is in 7th place. Obviously nothing else is in contention in this part of the circuit, with the number 88 90 seconds away from Wenzel. Also Grosser is in 9th. Oops. As the number 911 is now in the pits, that's the car in 12th place. Nearly a minute in front of Leclerc, nearly 177. The number 51 just set their team's personal best, 8:10.872. Now 23 seconds away from the number 14. So it's still not over, this one here. And unfortunately for the Belgian team, now the balance is shifting towards the white Ferrari. The chance was quite high earlier on, but they put Senatore, which is likely the fastest driver. There is some yellow flag showing. It is the number 234. Didn't. It was. I don't think it was a 934. Maybe it was a 934 to be fair. This was definitely a 934, which unfortunately had an issue in this very part. Oh, they went on the gravel and lost the car completely on the GP2. Now only 50 seconds are gapping the McLaren and the Mustang. It's a bit of a long journey, this one here, but this is getting to a clashing result. Ooh, closely going on the very edge of the grass section there. The issue is that if you go too wide there, it's... well, there isn't much left apart from a barrier and the wall and the forest of the Eiffel forest. The gap last time around has been halved, so now it is only 2 seconds. Earlier it was 4. It's now becoming evident even without the time score that two cars are getting closer together with only few seconds remaining, and it's going to be likely that the overtake will happen even in this lap at this point, especially on the main straight, even if the McLaren is a very good platform in that regard. I don't know how to answer. I'm not really sure which answer I should give in that regard. One of the comments of all time, not gonna lie. Currently here, Story has taken away 3 seconds away from Semin. The gap is 23 seconds, but I still think that it's not really 22 seconds, but rather 50 to the other side though, so Senator having at that point 45 seconds of advantage over the 14. And all of these just goes a bit against Adamo, who is now lapping in 8:15 and losing just in the last lap 5 seconds from the 3:31. Uzi, this doesn't mean that they will lose. Into the pits Simon goes, so as stated earlier, they have to go into the pits earlier compared to the 3:31 there in 6th, which now becomes 5th. The last lap was an 8:12.3, gaining 3 seconds on the car ahead, 49 seconds of advantage for that green car in 4th. In terms of stint timer, I think it should be. It is indeed close between the two, with Adamu lapping a lap, pitting a lap earlier than the white Ferrari. A lap later, rather. So the Ferrari pitted a lap earlier. And it's the same Ferrari that is likely on the 14th strategy rather than the 11th strategy. Oh, 2 seconds are between Angelo and Wenzel, and at this point my statement was completely wrong. It's clear that the Ford couldn't match it in this very lap, but it's also evident that it's going to happen in the upcoming minutes. Stint timer for them shows that their pit is in this lap. Maybe, no, it's the next lap. Unless they want to go for a different strategy, but it's going to require 2 pit stops for both of them to complete the race. Second number 934 is now in the pits, waiting for new tires and fuel. And we'll stay here with, no, this one here, this camera. 1.5 seconds of advantage only for Angelo. Since they are on the same strategy, this is the race on the same plate, so whoever is in front will effectively be in front. It's useless to think when they will stop, since it's exactly the same lap. I think it's one of the few teams that stayed on this tactic. I'm looking at it, and maybe the number 94 is on this very taxi, but after 24 hours having your opponent on the same exact strategy is quite rare. Yeah, boss. Now I launched into 2.5 seconds, so a mistake on the beginning of the notch life clearly put the McLaren a bit more safe onto the matter. Why weren't they changing gear? You know, it is working, but for me they didn't change gear, and I'm not really sure the reason there, why they stayed in third. They're certainly not helping their lap time. Lorenk in the number 141 just set the team's personal best an 809.765, with the team 16 seconds behind the number 69, behind by only 2 seconds the car number 88 just exited the pits, and practically the 69 and 88 are on the same strategy, and maybe even the 141 narrowly. So two battles are actually unfolding as of now, with this one here for 9th place and the one for 7th place, without mentioning the 5th place one and 2nd place one. As we are approaching the final pit stops. Still not there, but after 57th minute to go, then that will be the moment where everybody pitting will not have to do it for another time. Product gap remains the same between Wenzel and Angolo, so clearly not a fast lap for the Ford Mustang team in 8th place. One of the two remaining, since it was free at the beginning. The clocking game ticks well, nearly 11 AM, although it's around 15 minutes ahead of time. It's just 10:41. The race started at 11:50. Yesterday, 6th of July, sorry, 7th of July. In an hour and 10 minutes, we will be having a winner with Perry driving the number 84, I suppose, until the end. And realistically, I don't plan to see them anywhere else, even because any incident or disconnection really doesn't change anything, since they are so far ahead that anything will just be a a little stop, but nothing else, since they have 10 minutes of advantage over the following car. So this means that they could realistically stay still for 8 minutes and still be 2 minutes ahead. They could lose an entire lap literally, and they still have 1 minute and 20 seconds of advantage. And maybe even more, depending on the stint timer, because they are currently with 40 minutes on their stint. They didn't do a single mistake, so I suppose they will be on. They will be in the pits in the 50 minutes to go. So they just need another stop. Angelo goes in the pits and Sim goes for the Mustang. Both of them on the same strategy. This time around it was a bit slower off a lap for Wenzel. Now if they miss their pit box, that's going to be fundamental for one of the two. I don't think they have any damage to be repaired. Agno goes out and same goes for the Mustang, so both of them made a perfect pit stop. Considering it's not the last one, they still have to go for another, because they pitted before that famous 57 minutes marker. They are 1 to 2 laps short, so they can play it. They can play it with some strategy now. They know they require at least 1 lap, maybe even 2. So one of the two could go for an earlier pit and try to undercut, which is realistically completely useless because you're just putting more fuel in the car. As there is a yellow flag currently showing on the circuit, it is the number 81 in 23rd place. It's already too late there. I don't think they hit the wall. Have a better look here. Going. Oh, that's in. Oh, it is the wall. This is definitely the wall. We went wide on. I think that was. It was Cuff and Hard. The double apex. But if you make a single tiny mistake, you just go wide for the entire duration of it. Thompson in the last lap made definitely a great lap, 809.9 compared to Handy's 8:16.2. With this rhythm, they are about to get into second place directly without passing through the pits. In terms of stint timer, they are on 27 minutes, so they are quite obliged to go for another pit stop. But maybe the same goes for the 787, because they will have to pit at this lap, but I think that they will practically be obliged to go in for a second time for a splash and dash. But for now, the Mustang doesn't seem to have the rhythm to take it to grains, and this is a bit of a thing that had to be done. So the avoidance to stick to a plan and to just stick to it without even changing, because as it stands, if they would have put their faster driver available for another hour, which is not it's not much when consider you have been driving for maybe 7 hours at this point. One more is not really that big of a deal, because that could have been the difference between 7th and 8th. Now Berezovsky doesn't really have the pace, and is currently getting gapped by Grains, leaving him with a 7th place, and we are really thinking about the car behind. And this unfortunately lets us out of a good battle for position, unless Berezovsky can answer to the pace and to the rhythm of the McLaren driver. Then we got in 9th place. There is still a sort of a battle for 9th place there, with 10th and 11th following. Zoranovic is, if I remember correctly, he's the quickest of the 88 team. So Aristov will have a bit of a hard time to get close to Zoranovic, and then Lorenk is also him, the fastest of the team lineup, and he has been lapping quick. The last lap, 4 seconds have been taken out of Aristov's face. Now the gap is 9 seconds, and this means that in 2 to 3 laps we should see something happening in 10th place. That would be for top 10 at the very least for a team which had the car in 3rd earlier on, and jumping from 3rd to out of the top 10 is not really a great thing. With Handy going into the pits, and this practically marks their obligation to go for another pit stop at the very end, because they just are 56 minutes to go in the pits. And the leader is 2 minutes up ahead on the road. So he likely started the race. Oh wait, there is a yellow flag. Number 18. Oh, it's number 18, so that's the 531 making the pass for position. They lost the rear and they hit the wall. And unfortunately they were on the other side of the road, and that's going to be the 531 in 19th place now, gaining the position on them. So it's getting more and more obvious that Berezovsky doesn't really have the rhythm to get attached to grains. So this will be an unfortunate end for the battle for 7th. Lorenk is now into the pits with 54 to go, even him very much on the limit, and I think that's too much on the limit, so I think they will also have to go for another pit. So this likely means that Aristov is likely free from any possible danger from the Aston Martin behind, and the 69 and 88 are on the same strategy, so it's all up to pace. And as it stands, Zoranovic has gained 4 seconds in just the last lap, so the 88 is clearly having a good time around there. 8 seconds only now between Van Horden and Gasolina, although the damage is clearly impacting their car. There is a yellow flag currently showing on track. It is a number 792, I think. No, it's the 787. Oh, wait, it's the 787. No. Which car it is? Is it? Ah, it's the number 73. Oh, that's a lot of damage, though. Just on the left hand, I think they just tapped the wall. Oh, that's heavy on the wall. Twice. That's a lot of damage for them. And there is another car off. This time it is the number. I think it is the number... It is the number 88. Oh, that's a big one. So Aristov managed to gain the place number 9 on them. So another BMW getting in difficulty here. So they went on the curb. I think they just lost the rear there. Okay, that's just infuriating. Because I just want to know if... What was it? Oh, yes, that was also an impact with the wall. So that's likely 69 going home with the 9th place. So unless... but at this point... it is... it's actually a good idea to go in the pits, repair the car, and pit fuel until the end, because they will in no case arrive to the end anyway. Because they will have to make another pit stop anyway. So we could see a shift in the strategy. They will obviously lose a lot of time in the pit. But on the bright side, they will just have to push as much as physically possible. Or maybe even not the damage. Maybe the damage repair is not even needed, as there is a car slow, which is the car number 17. Because if they can just keep it together, as they lose too much time, that in this case it's completely the opposite way around. Maybe the front end damage is not that hard on the performance. They are always losing time. Their top speed is 273, 272, so they are losing some time. Usually it is 274. Just in the straight they lost 2 temps, but if they can gain it back in the technical part, certainly is enough to get going. As a matter of fact, they go into the pit to repair the car, very likely, and to do a full service on it. And then it will be interesting to see how it evolves against the 69 just in front. Now Ulrich is in front of the car, as it was a lot worse than expected. It was nearly a minute. No, it was 15 seconds, apologies. It was 15 seconds of damage, so not that much of an issue. But they lost 15 seconds. They are now even behind the Aston Martin. And there is still a question mark over the head, because I am not sure they can get to the end of the race without doing a second pit stop. Zoranovic for now remains 3 seconds behind. In the standing. Now the 11 goes for the final pit stop with 50 seconds of gap to the car behind. So they could actually get behind the 14, because now Van Tillen is in the car and is absolutely destroying the field once more. It is also quite recurring, this fact here, because Van Tillen is, unironically, one of the fastest of the entire grid in this field here. It's absolutely insane how this driver is good. It was quite clear in the Masters League, and it is quite clear now. 8 or 9.7 was the last lap. And now he is just 5 seconds away from Adamo. Although, little reminder that The 11 just made the pit stop. And the 14 will likely have to make it once more. One is just 4 seconds behind, and this fight could be for phantom position. But regardless, it's a battle nevertheless. Vivantinen making a 10.7 now. In the last lap, and cutting the gap every single meter that passes. Same situation applies to the car in 11th place there, 2 seconds away from Ulrich. But again, that could also be a phantom position when the pit stops will happen. Because for now it's still a bit in the air. The situation is not completely clear. .3 seconds only between the two, without the Aston being in striking distance for Zoranovic. No, only half a second between the two as we go in one of the most difficult and fast on the same time sections of the track. You never lift off here. As the car number 69 is now into the pits. It's one of their opponents, but clearly they are going on the defensive. They really don't want to lose anything, and if anything happens, at the very least they can defend. Zoranovic is in the slipstream here. It's the end of the Dottingham into Tiergarten. It's going to be side by side, but I don't think there is enough space for the BMW, although it's one of the final laps, so it's going to be Ulrich backing out of it without really putting any defense. maybe they know that it's I won't say useless, but they know that maybe they still have to make another pit. But I find it strange that there simply wasn't any any defensive move by Ulrich there, but Zoranovic now is 10 seconds behind Aristoff, and he is quicker, so those 10 seconds may not be a lot of time altogether. Now Ulrich obviously will follow the car ahead, but as it stands, it's not really a fight with Zoranovic, but it's more decision to stay in 11th. Whilst Bantilan here is technically battling with Adamu, but as I said earlier, it's highly likely that it's a phantom position. .7 was the last lap, so defensively ongoing for a very good situation there, but it's unfortunate because this car could have been one of the cars in contention for the very oh, there is contact. That's a hit. There's going to be also some damage. That was a hit with, I think it was the car number 162. Getting hit into turn 1 on the very first corner. That's a way too early. I think we should see it from here. The Ferrari goes for its way, and then you can see the other Ferrari just launching the car. Then it happens. Now Antillen will have some damage. The issue is that if the damage is too much, it's going to ruin the Belgian team comeback. To get into 5th place, as I think this is illegal. 805.3 is your new fastest lap of the race so far, with Warner absolutely sending it in 805.3. I really don't know how he does it, going 6 seconds quicker than the average. This is simply absurd. 0.5.3. The second best lap is on the 0.8.3. And it's still far away. 3 seconds further away. As always, when you follow a driver, its movement, it doesn't seem that different from what he usually do, but look at how much of the track he uses. That's the real difference. And going on the limit every single corner is what really changes. Going nearly 240 in this section. Usually the speed is 230, so it just goes quicker in every single section. And there is a car going slowly on the Dotting Hole. Which car it is? Wait, it is the number 300. Was it number 300? It is indeed the number 300. Going very slow and completely damaged. What exactly happened here? So that seems a very heavy damage that has to be repaired. Now they are second in class, but okay, this was already too late. This seems way too much to be. I think I found it. But the car is completely demolished. It was already demolished here, unfortunately, so it was very likely a lot of time ago. As we lost the number 531 Mercedes, unfortunately, with another disconnection happening. They were in 21st. The number 300 will likely not lose the second place in the IM category. That was quite unfortunate for them. Now 2.2 seconds is the gap between Vantinen and Adamu. And then 38 seconds behind is Zagdal. Although at this point I think the real objective is to stay in front of Zagdal rather than Adamu, since, well, you really don't have the chance to stay in front of a driver which has a bit less in the matter of 27 minutes. We know the gap being 1.6 seconds only, and with the last lap, which will be obviously damaged by the contact we had seen in turn 1. I don't think any damage will be repaired. I'm quite sure about that. It will just be maybe even just fuel at this point. There's a good chance it will actually just be fuel. As it is now less than a second. Now this fight is more to get just in front, so I suspect the 11 will let them pass because it's not really their challenge. They will remain in 4th. After this car will go in the pit lane. So the main objective for both teams is to lose as little time as possible. Because obviously Adamu doesn't want to lose time or the car or anything else, since it's not really safe from that point of view. Like any possible mistake that could happen in the next 24 minutes could bring them behind both Zackel and Van Tielen. So at this point it's the better idea to just let Ferrari pass by. As Warner goes into the pits already. After not even 24 minutes of stint. I'm starting to think he's just going the pits to make even more lap records. The aim likely is to go under the 8 minutes and 4 seconds at this point. As here goes the move. I think both drivers are speaking the same language. I let you pass, you don't bother me. You're not racing with me anyway. So go on and continue your journey. Even because any possible battle with Zakdal will also help the 11 at that point. So it's the best thing to just play with them. The same game. As Van Tielen will have to pit in this very lap. Zakdal will not have to make another pit stop, so those 40 seconds are realistically going to be reduced to minus 10 seconds for the number 331. Van Tielen is pushing as much as possible. You can see the gap already creating between the two. Now the 11 doesn't really have anything to worry about. They are in a good position. They are in 4th place. Ultimately, regardless of how the next pit goes, because it's highly likely that it's not going to be 35 seconds the gain for the Ferrari driver, as it should be like 10 seconds per lap quicker, since only 3 laps remain. We'll stay with this car for a brief moment, just to see how quick he's going. Last lap was 8:12. Even with some front end damage, even with the contact, even with the back marker in front, it still was 1 second and a half, no, only 1 second faster than Zagdal. It was nearly 10 seconds faster than Handy. It was 1 second and a half faster than Adamu. It was 4 seconds quicker than Grains in 7th place. As now Gamov makes the best lap in the team, 2:11.5, so Zaranovic is likely seeing that incident he had earlier on as a bit of a sword, because without that incident they would have been 9th. Now they are in 10th place and they are not seeming to be gaining, or rather it's the 69 who is gaining over the car behind, 1 second point 3 in the last lap. Now the next lap is going to be the quickest possible lap for Warner, and I really want to say it one by one and to do a fly around on the track. In all of these races, I think it's quite evident which car is the quickest. It's either the BMW or the Ferrari. He's on the limit even here, jumping off the carousel and simply going as much as possible on the edges of the track, and even more, utilizing every single bit available of the German track. Ooh, there's a yellow flag showing. It was briefly. I think it was the number 17. It flies into the pits. Stint is over for them. Van Tillen is now going to just put fuel in the car, and it's likely going to be either 2 or 3 laps. I'm still undecided on that regard. Because it all depends on where Warner is. The moment he is going to finish his lap at 16 minutes to go. So there are likely 2 laps to go. Only. Because yes, he still has a 1 minute to go. So he will cross the line at 16 minutes. And that's Van Tillen just exiting in front of Zagdal, barely in front. With hot tires, because he just put fuel 8 seconds in the pit, so it's just 2 laps. They made the calculation, they thought it's going to be just 2 laps. So either they had some some spare fuel, or they just are barely on 2 laps, which is okay, since, as I said, only 2 laps remain. But that's unfortunately the fifth one just behind Van Tielen, who made a perfect pit stop and just made it in front. And with the current rhythm, it's obvious that Zackel has the better tires, but Van Tielen has overall the better speed, even with older tires. Last lap for Zackel was an 8:14.2. Last lap for Van Tielen was an 8:20 by going into the pits, and this will likely be 8:50. As Warner is now starting the lap. This is going to be a very quick one. Yeah, 100% is going to be just 2 laps to go. So, lucky for the Aston Martin. It's going to be, and even for Zakdal, even for Thompson at this point, because I think that even him is on the very, no, even for, apologies, even for Handy, the 787 is very much on the limit. Although Thompson just made the 8:08.1. Absolutely crashing the majority of the other lap times being set so far. He's on the limit, but he's pushing as much as possible since he has an eternity of advantage. He clearly wants to make just a quick lap. 134 kilometers per hour over Flug Plus. 282. On his weather cruise. I also noticed that he's changing some settings as the lap progresses. And those little changes are essentially what brings you those times that give you 805. I'm still surprised it's at 805. It's absurd. Simply impressive. As we go over Metzgalt and into the double right-hander on Kaffenhard. This point there is 1.6 seconds between Zakdal and Van Tielen, so the race outside the pits was practically over in turn 1. No, Vantini is 44 seconds behind Adamu. He needs 16 seconds per lap, so ultimately that's not really an issue, but he and his team made something incredible, because 12 hours ago they were in 14th place. Now they are in the top 5. They also set one of the quickest times of the whole grid. He's currently lapping the Ferrari number 81. As the car in the number 442 is back in the race, but at this point I think it's just to complete the race. Although 1000 laps away from... Oh wait, it's 442. It's just Nopek that wants to at least do a lap. It's not a 441. I wonder what's going to be the time. He's going 4th here, then 3rd into the right-hander. We are in Grünshen, then YouTube corner with Ace Curve being the next one, and then Fans Garden 1 and 2. The jump here, but taken flat, rally car style. We're in second carousel as we officially head into the 8 minutes to go, so this means that the white flag will show up. Over Hohenheim, and that's going to be an 8:04.5, fastest lap of the race so far, and I think physically possible for a human being. Fastest lap. As we are the final lap, as you heard, this race will end practically on the 24-hour mark, as Grace has to go make for a pit. Oh, that's a big one. That's a huge one, because both of them still have to make a pit stop. I forgot about that. And this could still be a surprise, because if one of them misses the pit box, it's going to be over. completely. They just have one lap to go, though. So, if anything goes smooth for them, nothing really changes. They are just going for a drive-thru. Both of them are going for a drive-thru. Interesting. So they both decided to go for a different tactic, and quite honestly, it's a if they can do it, good on them, because it's certainly a good one there. So ultimately, I think this means that the two here will not really battle anymore. Thompson just made the team's personal best too, 808.1, and Handy this point just bring the car home, and with a lot of damage too in the front of the car, lapping 8:22, but at this point it doesn't really matter that much. Certainly they should be quite happy with the podium, as they are now in third. Earlier on they were very much down the grid, made a comeback and it worked greatly. Then it is the number 11 who is 4 minutes away from Handy and just 30 seconds in front of Van Tielen. Van Tielen, who is lapping, I guess at this point practically 3 to 4 seconds quicker, but that's really not enough. So number 14 here just put a 4 seconds gap on Zakda in the 51. Now the 3 minutes behind is Grains in 7th place, which has the 6 seconds gap on the Ford Mustang following. Then number 69 kept the 10-second gap on Zoranovic, who unfortunately made a single mistake, which was costly in terms of positions. The leader is already into the fast section after Bergwerk. It's quite likely that some cars will probably slow down to let the leader catch them, to honestly just avoid making another 8 minutes and a half of track alone. As there's a yellow flag just appearing there, it's number 17 I think. Oh, it is number 17. So braking there and spinning the car, losing the rear and some damage to the front of the car.
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
So now Werner will also in the car number 84. Now it's practically official because if anything happens now, they already have a lap of advantage. So they literally already won. So this means the number 84 with Chris Warner, James Perry, Seddon Tooth, and David Sparkles will gain the ticket for the qualifier event for SRO, and with Zurifm I don't think they will find any challenge over that. And the qualifier event will take place to then win the chance to get into the SRO Grand Finals. That will be commented by Anthony Davidson himself. So in that case you are lucky that you are not hearing my voice. Anyway, into the final carousel for the last time for the team in the number 84. In the Hypex Racing. For the moment, James Perry, which is not really an unknown name, he was already good when driving alone in the Master League. Then he found a team which is definitely a team. Like, it's not the first time we have heard of Hypex. They had some runs in major championships around the world of the esports. For the last time over Tiergarten, and it's going to be the car number 84 that will likely not set another quick lap, I hope, but it's going to be Chris Warner, which will cross the line first of them all, and that's your winner for the 24-hour of the Nürburgring. Car number 84 Hypex Racing with Chris Warner, David Sparks, Seddon Tutt, James Perry driving the BMW M4 and drifting around. So he is also good at drifting. Maybe not. Okay, no, he's not. Okay, unfortunately, you are not. You're good to lap 804, but you're not good enough for drifting. Truly not a racing driver. Your ticket will be revoked instantly, unfortunately. So it was a hidden requirement to just being able to drift a GT3 cars, unfortunately for you. So obviously they will also have an interview with us at the very end of the race. We will wait for the teams to end the race. In second place it is going to be Bailey Thompson in the 221 FRL car with Tuberg Balemsi, Nico Vellman and Dominic Illigner, that will end in second place in class. As in IM class, we've got the number 93 winning in IM class and the number 300 getting in second place. We're just waiting for the final podium sitter, but in first place in IM class it was Alexander Larocque, Josh Steffin, Chase Gordon and Matteo Scaptura. They finished the race in first place in class, and in second place in class it was Casper de Valois, Freddy Winkel, Mark de Munich, Patrick Den Brewer, Justin de Jong and Timen Wegemans. The most Dutch name I've ever read, I'll be honest. Now Eric Handy, Christopher Larsen, Nathan Pierce will end the race in third place in class and overall. And that's a 787 completing your podium. Whereas in IM class it's going to be the number 41 to complete the podium. And it's going to be the Mokos Keys, Sven Carving, Mark Gigi and Sergio Osorio that will complete the podium in their class. We are waiting for Davis to come across the line. I think it's going to be The number 69, the next one, 8 seconds in front of their opponents. That's going to be the number 69 that completes the race in 9th place. With Chris Squirrel team, then it's going to be the number 88 just behind them for Nurbs and 4. Very good race for them. And I think it's going to be the number 141, which at the end managed to end the stint on the 58th minute. That's going to be number 141 Holdfast Motorsport. That completes the race. In P11. And in AM class I think it's going to be 41 what across the line, but also it is the number 197 at the very start of the Dottinger. As all the drivers are heading to the finish line. As the McLaren behind is the 15th placed McLaren, with a very good performance for some drivers, but unfortunately overall they are just 15th. McLaren now in 15th place, going alongside the Ferrari in the car number 197. Next one is likely going to be the number 11 here. But first it's the number 17, which is still on Dottinger. So that's going to be the number 17, which completes the race there. Then it's going to be the car number, I think it is the car number 11, just in Tiergarten there, which completes the race in 4th place. And then just 20 seconds behind, still try to gain as much time as possible. It is the number 14. In 5th. This is then going to be the 331 in 6th place. Here it comes the white Ferrari, as this is the car completed in 2nd. Then it's the Manfred Racing 911 color. That goes on to complete the race. It is then the 162 as the start of the GP straight. With car in 17th place. Yellow Submarine squad in 21st. But first it's going to be the 177 for the TSE Racing. That goes on to complete in 12th, 11th. I don't know anymore the position. I think it's 13th place. And 21st, it's going to be the final team there. So this was the 24 hour of Nürburgring. Now in a short time we will have the winning team in the commentary for the... Okay, it's correct. For the interview. Just need to make this here, make this here, and put this here. Okay. So for the winning team, we are waiting if they want. But this was the 24 hour of the Nürburgring. Next time it's going to be the 6 hour of Watkins Glen on September the 7th. And that line also marks the possible change of car that you can have. So for now it's going to be the whole of August without any event in the endurance calendar. Then it's going to be 4 events with the 6 hour working stand, the 10 hours Zolder, the 4 hour Logan second, and the finale at December 7th at 9 hour of Kalami.
Green light, go, go, go.
Oh, there is another race, woohoo! But in the end, the winning team is now going to join the commentary, as I think one is already here, but hello mate.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
Not too bad at all. Yeah, that was certainly a race.
That was certainly a lap. Why did you make an 804?
I guess we just decided, like, at the end to just
No,
sort of have
not in that sense. Like, how is it possible to make an 804? Like, I want the exact detail on the reason why you had a GT2 car engine with a
I dunno.
GT3 layout.
We did 803 in quali, but yeah, had a little bit more fuel obviously with the out lap and then another lap as well for the end of the race. So we only managed an 804, but no, it's super good fun, to be honest.
Yeah, in the end, when you pitted, I was like, okay, yeah, they're going to make a stupid lap time because why not? And in fact, you just did it. Now, the good thing is that, unironically, when you made that pit, practically your lap, your final lap was seconds, seconds before the 8 minutes mark arrived.
Yes.
So when you ended the final lap, it was effectively the end of the race. So
Yeah.
24
Yeah,
hour as a clock.
Yeah, we had sort of planned that in a sense of like when it would be sort of best to end the race.
As soon as
sort of thing.
possible.
Yeah, we're all pretty knackered, but honestly, it went so well. It went like a dream. Nothing really went wrong. We only had like 2 minor mishaps. I think overall we like only got like 6 seconds of damage that entire race. So it was pretty much perfect, sort of how it went.
So yeah, now you also won the Essero qualifier event ticket, and I'll be honest, as I said in the live stream already, I really don't think that you will find any particular challenge, not in a bad way. Like, if this is the pace at Nürburgring where your average time was the best time of everybody else, I really think that you will find yourself in an okayish way.
Well, I mean, hopefully it does go well, but yeah, you never know really. We'll have to see throughout the whatever like the layout of that championship is and see how it sort of goes.
I like this not so confident kind of setup when you have absolutely destroyed the field. So yeah, that's in comparison. Like, yeah, we don't plan anything. Meanwhile, the North Life being literally one lap behind. So,
To be fair, I don't think we will ever get that amount of luck in the race ever again.
Yeah, that was.
well, it's not luck. It's actually
insane.
when you don't put the car in the wall and when you just put laps. It's at this point it's not really luck. Luck is when you put the best qualifying lap every single lap. That's a bit different. So you just deserve this. You were just above everything and everyone else, and I think you really made a good challenge for your team for Apex.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers. Yeah, very well run event. Cheers.
And well, yeah. If you have any like plan for the future, like I know your team. It's not the first time I've seen your team. I've seen you in LFM in various challenges here and there, and the team has always been one of those that you see it and you're like, that's that's complicated for the other drivers. Do you have anything planned with this car in particular, or is the BMW going to be just a one-off?
I think for me personally, well, it's my first race with these guys because we're all from really the Jardia community, and we sort of have like I suppose formed a team. But it's my first time driving with them in a race, and I think I'm gonna main the BMW going forward. But yeah, I'll see sort of how it feels.
Well, then I'm sorry for your ears. Because the BMW is so dull in the noise, I just don't like it.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like
it is.
you're driving a tractor. It's like
Yeah, it's a pretty strong car. Apart from when it gets a bit too hot or in the rain, it's a bit bad because of the power delivery. It's quite peaky, but other than that, it's a super fun car to drive.
Yeah, I noticed that the BMW, apart from the noise, is a pretty good balance. It's a pretty good car overall, and it's actually being used by many important teams. So if it works, it works. Like it has been a good platform since it went out, and just as in real life, because even in real life it really works well. It's a very good car, and obviously made by the Germans. So like did you really expect anything else? So good on it, and well, yeah. If well, honestly, I hope that you have not this only race in this year that has to be won. I'm sure that you will participate in many other endurances, and I really hope for the best for you because you really deserve it. Like honestly, it's rare to see someone just demolishing everything and everyone. So, so yeah. If you have anything that you want to add, you can just go on with it, and you can say anything you want really, apart from like insults to me. Please don't do.
No, honestly, it was a super well run event, and very thankful that you've put it on. The competition, we honestly thought there would be a bit more, but I suppose as well with the fact that SRO's going on this weekend as well with Indianapolis that was on. There isn't as many teams, but still, it was a crazy experience, and just so happy that it went so cleanly and well.
Also,
it's great. Thank you.
in the team and scene, James Perry, it's not the first time you've been in this commentary in this interview box.
Well, not for a while. But yeah, I've done a few FRL endurance events.
So it's great to. I already said it earlier. It was great to see you back in FRL events, and as it was some months ago, you came and just won as it was tradition. So it's very good to see it.
Yeah, it's always good to do an FRL event. We've just been busy recently, but I didn't want to miss out this one. Had to do this one, so it was good to do it and win pretty comfortably, to be honest. So yeah, it was quite good.
Yeah, good one on that. So enjoy your win, enjoy your ticket, And technically, you also can join the next event without any fee, if I remember correctly. So you have quite a few prizes for yourself.
That's
Awesome.
not bad. That's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you
Thank you
very
very
much
much.
again.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that.
So yeah,
Thanks for the team.
congratulations again.
Thank
Yep.
you.
So this was the Apex racing team, and they went and completely created a race for themselves. I was Cristiano Romano. Alongside me, it was John Wright, and in those 4 hours, it was Ricky. And this is the end of the 24 hour of Nürburgring. I hope you had a good time. And at this point, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are.